Lasso, that goes exactly number some treasure.
Okay, so I'd like to extend my greetings to all of you, and we're going to start.
Three not so loka ngapching ni mandrota, Cassandra Totoju, Pansaman to Chipa in Dopana Gimajoja, no more Kivan the talk, send the Jonium, Jet and Downs, the Tandi Sholoka, and Tandi Walton Sholoka Nidman, Kanama to Mengula, Tata Sejawachiti, Sturbabjan, the Name, by Yen the start of Zon Chas, and they now young to Kinson on Hachon Kitchen Body, Pansaman to Chipa in Dopanam Gimajoa, sitting also. So nam ye chen song nang le pe na nga so ge semba le kang it kar che wo re museum bi cha kyo ke che wo re pe na mi jan yak pon de chi le nan chak to dang chi man ju pa chi na control lang chi yak po chi tong nan do cha ki ta jam ba ge cha kyo la te ni nga so la ma ka wa shi chi che wo re tan ri ma che
So in previous classes, we arrived at the verse 56 of the chapter 5. So it's on page, in English, it's on page 84, if you want to check it. So verse 56, we're going to read together with verse 57. I should not be disheartened by all the whims of the childish who are in discord with one another. I should know them to arise in their minds due to disturbing emotions, and therefore be kind towards them. In doing that which by nature is not unwholesome, both for the sake of myself and other sentient beings, I should always hold my mind fast, acting like an apparition with no sense of self. So here on verse 56, so in order to control our minds, in order to safeguard our minds, an important aspect of the training is to be careful how we react to the negative emotions or negative behaviors of other people, because it's very easy to get carried away when we're very close to someone's jealousy or anger. It's very easy for us to dislike the anger in this person or dislike someone, and that agitates our minds. So an important aspect of safeguarding our minds, of taking care of our minds, is being careful how we react to people when they manifest these negativities.
Lasso tanda tani sonsa tanji ge kori ke so so wan je che jang na so so je la nyomon da mra ki on nyomon da mra ki na so so le kang che on ge sonsa nyomon te so kori ke wang gi so so ge sem le kang che ma chi ni sem cha tam cha le jam se ta dem ba ge samlo chi ke shos.
So if we depending on our environment, we give rise to negative emotions and negative thoughts, depending on our environment. So we must be careful how when we are in contact with people, to maintain as much as possible a positive emotion like love and compassion towards them. Because it's very easy to be carried away by our environment.
Lasso tani kanama tu meng docu tanda sholo kani bakar la ore siti nga tu kanama tu pa me pa siti gewa rang gewa dripi kap se so so tan semchen jan sama rangja semcha tamcha ke che ta gewa te drop te namjin ta disturbal jin de zeon din di kable tomba ni ke kacha yen der ta to zon ja nga me pa disturbal jin de nga me pa do tomba ni kacha so so pa ta to tse son ne ni ke me son ta tomba ni tan jan pang de jamse ni nyam de jumni. And then
the next verse advises us to, when we are engaging in positive actions, either mental actions, verbal actions, bodily actions, we should keep in mind that we're not doing this for our own purpose, but that we are impacting the whole of humanity and sentient beings. So we're doing this for everyone. And then in the same verse, it warns us, because when we're engaging in such positive action, we need also to remind us of that the person that is engaged in positive action, this I, is not something that you can find if you look for it. So here he brings emptiness into the conversation. So even though you're engaged in all these positive actions, if you look for this I that is engaged in positive action, you cannot find it. So here he's talking both about love, compassion, and also emptiness.
La so ten di sholo ka tambo tel tanda nombu ke nga ro tin da sholo ka chik ta chang sa wa chi mun tu ka re zi nga so ka ti na pansam man ta chi pa zi ti jamba go kyo cha kyo ke ni ta chi pa zi andi ka le chi pa zi ma chen bo la o da pu na je ze mi tsu ma chi pu na je re ko so kyo pan da ma da chi on di nga ro semba ten ti ji li yu man ro ze pu cha kyo le tin nga ro so control on semba ma ki pa chen cha tong la ngar ke chen nga so le mba re ti na je ma chen bo to so go cha kyo te on sa ma yo pu cha kyo na je so ta ti ji le ma ki ni so so sem de so so da po jab ze ore ma so ni ma ta pa le mi jamba le chi ya pon de chon ni cha tong de long de aten cha tong la na ko le cha par chi o ma re ta ngaro lo ndon ro re yo chi cha kyo tu po chen na control on te tinga control on ngaro lo no re mo ko le cha par yo ma re san yin chi mun chi so so le ti ka nge che wa ta chen de le semba ma ki pa so che je ma na ma ding yo te so yin chi mun chi na ja gen de sam lo na le chin ko to na ha chang pen to chin bu yo sa re sa.
And for me, just coming back to the last verse, for me it's very important, this verse in my own practice, to not be disheartened by all the whims of the childish, as it says here, and in Tibetan also we have the word child. And for me it's very helpful to recognize, even though some people, they are advanced in age, or they're big people or adults, you might say, many times it's similar to children in their behavior sometimes, and we can see how it's quite foolish to be mad at a child because the child is acting like a child. And in a similar way, it's helpful to me to reflect on how foolish it is to be jealous of this person or to be angry because the person is acting in a certain way. Even though it's an adult, it's like a child, so it's not. It doesn't make so much sense to be so angry at this person for acting like this.
Na so ni sholo ka ngap chinga je pa tari Rangrig lo na tarin chok to pa yang da yang sam ni ze sem da rajab ta sem da ta sem te ta rajab ta rat ma yo son cha ze tan de de sholo ka te kar ze na so Rangrig lo na talwi chok ze tinga so mi li tinga so tar gen jo che tsai mi li tenda kali mombo chi gyam ni senga ma matu so kali mombo chi gyam ni tom yo chi rem ge li lawo chi to ayo ma re ze ru ke tan nga so tan jo ge jo che tsai mi li tin chi sama shi mo gwa chi na ge ta wa ge tan jo wa tsa tin chi se ayo re ta so do di na sam ro chi re ma ro li ge chani che na mi li tin chi ngo re chen ra wo tin ro ro ina chu che ka nyang ma mi li tin chi ngo re ti gon le nga so mugdana wala so pale kyo me sa kanta chu che wa cha ki yo pa li ting chani tin chi go chi che ta ta sha ta yon ni pa.
And then the next verse says, by thinking again and again that after a long time I have won the greatest leisure, likewise I should hold my mind as utterly unshakable as the king of mountains. So when he says won the greatest leisure, he's talking about the human body, what we call usually the precious human rebirth, which is when we achieve all the favorable conditions to this mind practice, the practice of the Dharma. And then we could also talk about the 10 freedoms and 8 endowments, but we don't need to go in detail about those. It basically means when we have all these favorable conditions, there are so many that are necessary to come together that, for example, don't come to a dog or to insects and many other life forms that have a much harder time in changing their minds or practicing the Dharma.
La so ni sacha ge chani che na sacha tal na chu chi re yo sa so so lob sa na sa ma che ki sa pe na dharam san chi na so so lom do yo na lab sa ge na chu lab sa ma bon do o ten ji ge na chu yo pa ma de na chu lab sa ge che ki yo sa chi go na to so so lom do yo na yer tal na chu sacha tal na chu ze at sa wa ni me na tal yan tan jo ka mare and then tan jo ze at na chu ngoni shi so and
then also not only our body has the conditions, but also our environment needs to have the conditions. So for example, being in a place that provides you these teachings that are necessary to change your mind, which we can call Dharma or Buddhism or any other word we can use. This is also a favorable condition that we need.
Last one is sound of Chinese China, Matso Samba Nyumba Zandro, the Samba Tata Menjo, the Tenji sound of Chunchayo Samayinke, Samba Tata Yoache, the Gonla, Nambi Chuse at the Chigiapoyo Maris in Lofta Mesa, Tenichi Go Yore, sound of Chinese.
And also, mental conditions are also very important. So, if we are born with a very unstable mind or with very strong convictions about something, that becomes a barrier to learning new things or to learning about the mind and how to transform the mind. These are also unfavorable conditions. So here we are met with all the favorable conditions, and
Last one is one Martha Samal, that your judge time litis at the Shechokore, and I teach at Sama Sangur. That your judge time litis in a huge rivers in a Ketani Chaki operated, should be check engine summary. The gondas also with you dramato, so lapouts and this decap the Carsongor is in an answer that your judge time merely tenjito on the Semper Ramnaj Tambo, Yozome, Riga Bonaj, Tembo Chinichu Pochiche also.
So this is expounded as a practice to recognize these favorable conditions. And they're favorable to what? To this practice of the Dharma, as we say. But then to either practice the Dharma or not practice the Dharma is in our hands. And if we practice the Dharma, then we need to learn to stabilize our minds, to have a stable mind to pursue this path.
Also, Tatanima, also Chudra Palangaki Chejoshi Karchangor is the Soso Lila Chapa, lose it is sharing the Chipombo Randreta, Tela Chapa Mombochi with a tea quarter, Junjo Mombochi, Tatanima Teresha.
And then in the next verses, they're going to talk about one of the things that we have to deal with when we practice the Dharma. So we talk a lot about attachment, right? And one of the things that we have attachment towards is this physical body, this body made of bone and flesh. So then the next verses, they are aimed towards this attachment that we have in our physical body.
Pachalomo go to go Sholoka Ngapchanga Tonda the Karazina Pena, Matso Zipota Tamatal Karachandro is in a Chargo Lasopa Chelasopa, that and you Kazi Kandoris. Gente mato chio maris, Sama Zandro at Rigichalas, Sonsa tell you Savachimbochi, Dia Choyo maris, Sholokashiti Tonda Taritanda to take in Johnson.
So then he starts giving examples of why we shouldn't maybe cherish this body so much. For example, he says here on verse 59 that where is our body going to? Our body, at the end of its path, of the way that our body is going to become food for different animals. It says here for vultures, they're going to become food for those. Yes.
Tandinima, the little Jojo Mombochi on the Karina Samji, the suit, Yantapa, Pento Yopachil Pecho Tamatona, Lunda Soso Dingakia Chimato Pento Chimerid, Tajarita, Chuno Chepi Telejana, Kona David Tenrini, Savachimborwa, Temenita. Controtando Chataje Danda Sogo, Sonkyo Chalajina, Choyo Marizina Teshe Orta.
So then then the next verses is going to go through many different faults and negative qualities of our body. Basically, in summary, he's saying that if we don't know how to use this life, if we don't know how to use this human life that we got, if we don't do something worthwhile, this body itself, it's not gonna have any benefit. It's only gonna give us suffering if you don't know how to use. If we know how to use it, as he said before, it's something very precious. If you know how to live your life, but if you don't know that, yes.
Lasa dani sholoka trichipati karzina. Matso lita nga zeatinika soso redioras. Roa kambata mocha ndawochi. Bena mocha ta mocha nigmin ndawo soso reyo sosa. Yoni soso yesonsa. Chu hachani tawachimbochi chede yo mare ze sholoka trichito nda teresha.
And verse 6 it says how the body and mind are separate, are different from one another, like a driver and a car.
Bena ta sholoka trichipati karzina. Natso we shindon rawo tandi chigla patan and zipo that tandi nuta tel son kyap tan che mandoas maru so lead zorbo tan che yore shata chala so pa tan zorbo chi ma to shindon ra on zipo ta tan kyoni yo mar ta tan dan sawachi mo shu che ndoas ta chapa ta so do che te shego.
And then also to help us to release this attachment to the body, he says here on verse 61 that when we see a very beautiful wooden sculpture, why don't we protect it with the same energy as we protect this body that's filled with dirty things like blood, etc. If it's separate from the mind, why do we protect this and not protect the other thing?
Ta lead kandi zorbo chi yore kyoro so ta ke te che ta de sholo ka ni patani ma she ngundo sanlo pa ta ni tombo pa pa le savlo chi ta tani pa pa ta ngani shani ta ta che ani sha ta ripani so cha ani ripa na ne kanda chala so pa pa jip cha chi ni pa chik savlo ton di ta zeni ta ki li ni sawa chimbo ni bo chan chi chai andu kyoro so savlo chi ta da ya tani ta par gi.
And then how should we try to see this body in a more realistic way, and according to here, in an impure way? We need to think beyond our skin. So building up the skin mentally with like visualizing, building up the skin and seeing the blood vessels, the muscles, the bones, and all these things that are inside our body that we would usually consider as dirty and not something attractive.
Tetan but it's tatani tiwati karzina tadi patsi sona nimbochi choni tongu yo maris nimbochi tong ma son tala chapa shuche mandes and so pecho ma che sa tanga so midu pa gom se achi ora to ta chi pare midu pa ma gom nan tadi gom na yo chapa do che tere su ta am ko par chapa tro mi par ta penata Zatang rawo chi na kandi chede na ya boyo ki marwa ina ya chi so so gadan rawo shor ni yon gadda shor sana sem kang chi de kandi kablan di saulo tan pe pen toyo sare.
Then if we keep doing this meditation, going deep into our bones and the bone marrow, we cannot find anything essential, anything pure and beyond this quality of the flesh and blood and bones, etc., that we usually consider as dirty. And this sort of meditation has a very specific purpose. It's to go against the attachment. And this is also meditation used. It's called meditation on ugliness. It's used when we want to suppress a bit our attachment, or to diminish our attachment towards someone else. So you meditate visualizing someone else's body. Of course, if you do this with your boyfriend or girlfriend or husband, it's not so good. Maybe you shouldn't do it. But if you fall in love with someone and you don't want to be in love with this person, then sometimes it can be useful to go beyond this notion that our attachment has, that this body is amazing and so beautiful, so attractive, it's so pleasant, if that makes sense.
Last hotani ta tiwali yanjo ti kyojo monteni kyojo resha ta so wi nari me na shaza kanye ma chang tong kanye ma ri kima za kanye ma ri cheka pecho yo maris li pecho me pochi li kyoro sawa chimbo chikarche de ores ta tu karnye res kyoro shasondi cha ta wa ta mbula som patni khasi chin ri ores.
And then he keeps expanding on this impurity of the body, saying, yeah, the dirty insides are unfit for you to eat. The blood we cannot drink. The gut is not something clean that we consider as attractive. And at the end, it's going to become food for animals. A very, very grim view on the body. Yes.
Karte chorong tsawa tiwani ma karso karte chorong tsawa chi bushi uchi cheni sonchop che dena ya tamatal sewa me pin chabda ka so choni ta sewa me pin chabda zena chikin chada zya tanga Sonam chada ko yo
Chinta
chada zi tinga so shichu ya ga dak pon ro shin ro re chada dorna nga so ka ti tsawa chimbo chen nima chi sewa me sesem pyoni me sa chada ka nga so choni ro ja karis ani lu dang nga ni kaka chang ro ris teti chedan kelas patendri khala chin ri ma to nga so ti gend te nya to ya chi tsawa ni yo maris tsawa chimbo ka se chen dena je kalele gengo chang ro ndu ma to nga so lo changji chini de ni da chore ta kyuni de chu ko mando raw me pa chin ro re se wo
Yeah, so basically, if we, no matter how precious we consider this body and how we want to keep it and hold on to it, the only destiny, basically what he's saying, the only destiny of this body is to become food for other animals. We cannot hold on to it. And thinking about future lives, as this text considers, we're going to separate from this body and go in a separate way. And also, even when we are young and we try to hold on to our youth or to this young body, it doesn't matter what we do, the body is slowly going to get older, and we're going to be separated from this young body. So this is a way for us to not be so attached and grasp so much at keeping this body in a certain way.
Tani ti oma solo katri regia pa tonda karizita pena tu regia ndosas.
Tu regia ndosas.
Regia.
Gaming do.
Ah.
Gaming do. Now we got to verse 68, but this book doesn't have the 68, right? I don't know. Do you have it?
No, it's the 70.
Do you have 68 and 69? Yeah, we don't have it. Yeah.
Tu regia do. Regia.
Regia mindo. Regumindo.
Regia nika la sonre. Tantric singing the nima. Gotcha.
Do you want me to look it up?
Last.
No, it's yeah, if you want to look up for yourself, but I'm gonna look here. Sorry. Okay, that's what I have here.
Tanda depende di genre pena ngaso yopondra ta leka ngaso leka wachi go yopondra chi go na kol zamate kuche tnichina ke leka le roch machena ko ngaso zamata kuche maras la chate mar ke no ji linda la ngaso pecho yo achi mena ngaso telinya tapa akale jamni ta son chopche ko akares ngaso michi na son chopche ni matsechi le son chopche chesho ta kares na so so li ta cha deora mate te chena ya ta le matche jav shu chi son chopche ra tendo mena ta le son chopche ni karche re de.
So verse 68, I don't know if you got it, but it says, the translation I have says, if servants who cannot be set to work, so servants, are not rewarded with supplies and clothing, why do you sustain with such great pains this body which, though nourished, will abandon you? So this body that we have, it's the thing that we take care of the most. I think maybe we can agree on it. Like if there is a very small wound, we take care of it immediately. We're very concerned about it. If this body feels cold or warm, we're always most part of the day we're catering for this body. We're always taking care of it. And if this body is useful to us, if this body is bringing us towards happiness or is bringing us happiness, great. Then we should take care of it. But if we're not making use of the body, then he says here it's just like feeding and paying for a worker that isn't actually working.
Last one, tandani maya ta ona lead country pecho tangore ziniti shoni tsano she gori lead zawani ni go mari zina mo gore sakanga lapto mara tangatso lacha tewa najin ngatso lead nyama tapa de lo zaya kala ti chetel shiu chingatso tel dos entendre gore lindi sonta lune yan chutre pala sopada tonda yo pa tandi non ta chu korse go sonta chuyin barwa tana gi ken sonalina tonda mesaz lune kap chong chong son kamaja chapaya chong che no malikia so cha tendi chol pecho matan ken so tan roal pento ga chol pecho tan shos.
So we're not saying here that we should never take care of our bodies, of course, that we should just ignore and mistreat our body. On verse 69 it says, so pay this body due remuneration, I think I said this correctly, remuneration, and then be sure to make it work for you, but do not lavish everything on what will not bring perfect benefit. So if we are taking so much care of this body, we're feeding, we're spending so much money to make this body happy, to make it comfortable, then even though we do this, if it only brings us suffering, if we only engage in activities through this body, that are meaningless or that are even harmful, such as like mistreating people or stealing or engaging sexual misconduct, etc., things that bring suffering, it makes no sense. We should, if we're taking so much care of it, then we should know how to use this body that we have to create happiness.
That's why ni sholoka dunchpa ngaso lipo to trizi la pegagore ngaso gangzak zya te tse ngamani chamal pandro ni jupa chi yina chego pari landro ni jupa chi yina lipo on the trizi taw chi res trizi te nekap to go ro goa yin sonsa ani trizi te semcha tamcha le mat so pa se kia pen to na ngaso lipo te an semcha tamcha le ton jwa ta jampan jopto ni lipo chi le ger shotani Rinchen Tame Bangan Road, Nima Chanch of Seki, and a Kachikin Koya Zora, the Yamtana, Rinchen Tame Paki in a Chanch Semja, Yetens was in the Penangasu, lit in the Chanch of Semchi Kesona, lit on Rimbochi Tower, Charles Press, the money, Dukya Leka Dukya Chanja Chedina, late Dupasaki, Tenchimato, Pentok Maris, so Tonda Tere.
And on verse 70, he recommends us to use this body as a boat. Because in Buddhist cosmology and in our understanding of rebirth, we're always taking new bodies. In rebirth, our mind is taking new bodies. And this body, therefore, if we look through this perspective, we only have this body very temporarily. And we're going to leave this body. So instead of being so concerned about the state of the body or so worried about it, we should learn how to make use of it, and making use of it means creating a meaningful life, and a meaningful life involves impacting others in a positive way. They say that when we can have the thought of bodhicitta, which is a very altruistic thought, a very ambitious and very altruistic thought, only for the purpose of all sentient beings, they say our body then is like a precious jewel. So we can talk about it from two different sides. If it's a body that is being well used for something meaningful, we say that it's like a precious jewel. If it's only helping us to accumulate more negative karma, more negativities, then it's not like a jewel.
Naso tani sholoka denche tongshik pa te ta rangwa yo chi ti ti tanga so sonza soso go sem de soso le rangwa yo pa chi che sho se tang na byanga so chena soso go sem de soso rangwa yo re zine yo marin do chak ka chi son ti chi ki control ka chi son ti chi ki cha to ka chi na ti ji de so wan de ma chi ni soso go sem de soso go da po chi ni start le de ki dam ba chonzum dan dam ba ma to choni la so ba choni zine ha ko ta tomba dukya tspa za vi tomba ndo chi ora ta le choni la what did you imagine domba ta sun zamshi shi chi ni majamba ta sun roa ta so shi zi ti ge shi ni ze ora ge shi ni ta chi ke ra sha ta ma le pen tong ke ji ta zam ten tong ke chi mo ta cho ni ra du po ra ta ji sa wa ni chen ke chi ma yo so sem da so wa ji che to wa che ze
in an yung to similar
wa ji che to andu control ma za sam na za yung du do cha ma la cha na le ha do cha le ti do cha ji tar tar ta ji de je dans le ti je da chi cha ta ta cha to le tin cha to koro ka le na ti ji gyung do na ma to so chon de che to mo do ni mo nga so do cha ze ya ta du cha ji ji ko na ya chon de che to mo du je dans ze ya ta du cha ji na mo ta chon de che to wa chi che ta ni so ra ra wa yo re ze wo
And then on verse 71 he says, now, while there is freedom to act, I should always present a smiling face. And why does he say this verse on while there is freedom to act? He says that to make use of these intervals of time where we feel that we have freedom to choose our actions. Because many times, if we have strong emotions in our mind, such as strong attachment or strong anger, or jealousy or whatever it is, we lose this freedom and we just follow whatever the emotion is telling us. We cannot actually make a conscious choice of our actions. But when we get this freedom to act, when we have this freedom, then we should try to to harm others, as it says here, not to show anger, not to frown at people, present a smiling face, etc.
Nas tani trusho che na so samlo tan le de ki zia tan sama cholo ni ta chi che ki mo bo ching zo na de ki ya po yung re te me na che ki ya po yung ma re sam go re ta so sem de so lo wa ja na cholo ko che ki par che me na yo de ki yo ata ja cha ja yin sa re pe na cholo ko che ki ya po san ji chu den de che ki sama kyur ni shina na ro ni gom ja ni de re ko ro ti choni samlo ya po Sonzanchete was on such a boyogiri, and it is a melody patauchina, Chaloco Chakil, they sat the Trapuchi Mungayo Mari, the lawyer Puquayo, Macala, the Dumbichanja, Subsini, Dumbichi, the Janjas and it did things on the Naloco sim the Gachin Bochi Jenny, Simgo Sonzaya Pochi on the Chaloco Chaki common, I am super dicky to Yosari.
And usually, when we try to find happiness, when we try to make our mental state happy, we look to change conditions or to find the right conditions that are going to make us happy. And when we have these conditions, we can experience happiness. If we don't have the conditions, we cannot experience happiness. But a very good result that we can have from working with our minds is to, even though we don't have conditions outside, we are still happy. Such as the Buddha Shakyamuni he gave up all the conditions for happiness in his life as a prince and went to the woods, to the forest, and he didn't have anything, but he was perfectly happy because of working with his mind. Also in the Tibetan tradition, we have the example of Jetsun Milarepa, who also did the same, going to caves in mountains. Yeah.
Last one, Tanti water that lila pochirin, the so she get so pay up for the Nata Popa, so ya po mar. She gone the Denayare, and the goat so yaja majapchinari, Lamgundona, Keta Gota Chota, Chimbo Majani, Jichukani, Jambo Chichesh, the athlete. I think that's
and then there's the second verse. Actually, you guys are experts. The Westerns are much better than us Tibetans in practicing these advices. It says here, I should desist from inconsiderately and noisily moving around chairs and so forth, as well as from violently opening doors. I should always delight in humility. So, like when you're walking the streets, not being too noisy. Here it's very noisy, but the Westerns, they're better at this.
That is Petachini, all my jagando, Chikerzela, the Chelazia, Chomkazata, Chikerzet, Chanal Rokichi, Chelazia, Chavaro. Charles in the country, Chomkas in a comedy, the son Jamie, Jam Chacha, and Rosa, some Shando, Jamie Pin, Jam Chacha, Sony Koroton down the Comazia, the Comadia, the Jamie Pen Jam Chacha, and Ton down the Tinasing Atsoya, Linga Yasan with your part, the son Jambo, Chichin, Ton down the Coris.
And then in the same light, it says here that a bodhisattva, us as practitioners, we should be like a thief. Or like a cat, or like a stork. I don't know what's a stork.
Like a long-legged bird that just stands very still, waiting for an insect.
A long-legged bird that just stands still. So yeah, our actions of speech, body, mind should be very, very soft and almost without any noise. Very, very kind, gentle, and soft.
Last of it, Sanji Chodan, the authentication in Royo is the Shiamar to be talked to. She has authentic. Yondi tondo the Kashindu, Denche Twenge, Shalaga, Jankantim Kandama, Keep it long as you shall, Shakantim. Tajala Tora Time Rover says, Marchupam being knocking a pipi. Mani conduct is what? Denche Twenge.
Yeah.
J'ai que le dépassé.
Mit Sommer gelockt davon. Getückt davon schlägt.
J'ai Sommer le tamien botan. Tandis que j'ai que ta, j'ai on dit que il y a pas ni l'autre ta ou quelque chose. T'es ça. Jambal que j'ai pas chez que tandis. Que j'ai pas tandis chez j'ai que le dépassé. Donc t'es y a pas comme. T'es taranrish. Not so calling que y a pas chose et atrish. So
verse 74, with respect I should gratefully accept and sought after words that are of benefit and that wisely advise and admonish me. At all times I should be the pupil of everyone. It's okay? Yeah, pupil, the pronunciation's okay? Pupil. Yes, exactly.
Tani jamba to catch a yapo shares on the touch, so yapo shares on the Yatora Chegores, Kasakaningaso, Donaga, Manamagawa City, Gigin Chiku, Lomatazo, Tora Tango Reveses on Pashol, Tora Tango, Social Tora Tanaga Poche Yomar. Ani Sonam Chepa Mataso. Chala yapo sono yapo sa de wona teni mustap de poyona teke sono yapo sa yapo rezini mil lab gores ka so mulse collegiona coaching maganye rezini yawlo mata sole ya jambata sol mata sol ke sono yapo sa sonda yapo che sonda ze she gores ani ka se ma jambata so teni tora tango na ta ke tora ta yapo rezini she gores le ka yapo che ata sol tora tango reze gore do tsudina.
And then here in 75 and 76 I should say well said to all those who speak the Dharma well, and if I see someone doing good, I should praise him and be well pleased. I should discreetly talk about the good qualities of others and repeat those that others recount. If my own good qualities are spoken about, I should just know and be aware that I have them. And learning not to see the bad side in others, and also praising others' qualities, learning to recognize other people's qualities. And if someone praises your own qualities, instead of becoming proud of his own qualities, he advises us to reflect on, this person is very good at recognizing good qualities in others. So still praising the other person for this.
Geva la Geshe Rangiata, Sonam Chimbo, Koso Jamba Geva to Jopona, Milia, Koromusi Yaporis, Yami Yaporis, Nishina, Jukori, Yanaya, show the Tamasho, accompany the Jungle Yotu Jonati, Yotish. Mi Jamba, Soso Yapon, Mi Jamba, Soso, the Torah Tavicina, Zaza Cheshos, Mahatoyang, and Jeta Chato Tachi Dramaga.
So there are many benefits to have this habit of praising other people's qualities. One benefit is that we protect our minds from jealousy, from reacting with jealousy, being uncomfortable that someone else has a good quality. So we are happy about them, and that's the second quality also of having this habit. We rejoice in someone else's virtue. And it's said in Buddhism that when we rejoice about someone else's virtue, we also accumulate the merits from their action. You know this term, accumulating merits, it's a term they use in Buddhism. But when they praise your own qualities, then we should be careful, because this can become a condition to give rise to agitated states of minds in ourselves, such as pride, arrogance, etc. So it's a different way of approaching it.
Teniti wall Sholokani touching Geshe Gantani Jana Matism. Tangaso Tendi Linga Yasam with Yopa Yarab Zeata, Dutch 22 Yang the Shenizan. Linga Yasam with Yopa, so Yarab, Kari Yarab, the so to Riktun Katani, Chalamon Pesach and Chon in Yua Yorita. Linga Yasam with Yoba Marajala Toratan, Sozo Willi, Linga Pakova Yarab the Sotana. Pesha Nua Yomar, so Batsu Chini Chego as a son, Tenjita Sola Gawa Yapogo, and Tenjina Sosola Tsendal Tome Pamasa, Pende Yorela, Paroteon, Namaya Poyongres, Teli Dorte Chetenan, Sendal Dingaka Gingeratan, Paroteon, Dingaka Gingerores.
Shloka
Tombo
Gepa de Kiranyan, Trishikatuna,
Tricheredumbayo.
No, Gepa. The Gepa Kiranyangi Sumtuna.
A teacher or read them but you're Japani.
Also the Kiranyangi. And on 77 it says, all deeds of others are the source of a joy that would be rare even if it could be bought with money. Therefore I should be happy in finding this joy in the good things that are done by others. And here it shows the value of virtuous actions or positive actions that we see in the world that people engage in. Even with millions of dollars or billions of dollars, we cannot buy a positive action, if that makes sense to you. It's something invaluable. There's no way to buy the joy of a positive action of a altruistic, compassionate person. So when we see someone engaging in something positive, we can be very happy that this is happening.
Last funny, the Oma Sholuka, the Chetonja Patentry, Dalanda Koi Yoman is it, Tendichena, so solid Sendalichon Yomari, Parrot Chimala Dekito Veres, Teli Dote, Yomo. Good Lekadi Chachana, Sendali on John Relaxation, and the Paris.
And when we do this, when we are happy about concerning the happiness of others or the good qualities of others, we don't lose anything. And we're actually happy about it. We get more happiness. And the opposite side, if we see someone's good quality or someone doing something positive, and we create jealousy or competitiveness, then we can see immediately we are not happy. We become miserable and sad. And according to Buddhism, also it's not good for in future lives. Also, we carry this. So maybe we stop here. I think our time is over, unless someone has questions.
So it says in like 75, I should say well said to all those who speak the Dharma well. And my question was just on like balancing like saying nice things and also not wanting, because I know that we're not supposed to be self-cherishing, and sometimes like if you compliment the monks, they almost say like, don't tell me these things, like don't, like I'm nothing, like don't say nice things. So should we give compliments and things to other people, or is it better not to?
Sonam John Sonam Shiba Tonguna, Topilia Pagava.
Ne doa konso di kiran lekpa kirandi yavo she son di shegre bi chu shinin chu sunyin
Mari jamba ta chu sheni chibo ma
chu shinin shegre di
sonum chepam tongcher naziti sonum chepaziti jamba sonum saade wo kin thonaze wo karche go na chancho pe sem ke go nari chu shege yo nari nyamle chege yo nari jamba go chu shepa chamo sonum chembo saade go na jamba gimba tang yo nari Karchego jambal ropache otaki yapoche sondazine topache gores
ni kongi tua pena ngatso jitang pena kiran trapachi la kiran tora gyamna konso di mashe senti konso mi se va kiran la tora gyamna jisa kiran la nopa gegire ra kesa kiran la gyena kiran la nopa gegire tene nga mi mompo la tora gyamna di yapodo kaisna konsola chichina no pa gegire konsola nga gyena konsola no pa yere dikongi
Reta ngaro go chani lepa ma gore zi kyorongo jisi ranche di semni gago yora kago joko yore karsa ngus tendi jopa mener ko nindo ngus korola tendi shedena pasho ngus shena tebo mena mi jamba te solo ti sono yapo sak do jamba yapo tangandu sini tora chetan rig de koni yote chona andrik res karsa kyun ris ko kol shede wona ke yapo she sanzini shenye tele ya tora tan shoze
So first, here in Tibetan, you see that it's between parentheses when it says the Dharma here, who speak the Dharma well. But actually, it's not only talking about teachers or the Dharma here. It's about general virtuous actions in general. And then I explained your question to him. We can also, if we...
Alendi tartalios tele leperma tamchala ziti chushia inariti all of sono sapa tamchazi tate to thoma yot.
Yeah, he's just saying here that there is a place that specify talking about the Dharma, and then later it brings more general about virtuous actions. But something that we can also do, and it says here, is to not praise someone directly. You can also, first of all, the most important is rejoicing inside your own mind, inside yourself, like praising this person or rejoicing being happy that this person is doing something virtuous or something that you consider positive. And another thing that's very positive is to talk about to someone else about this person. So the person is not hearing you, but you're also sharing, praising the person. That's also beneficial. And sometimes also directly complimenting is also okay, but then it's up to you to decide when it's appropriate or when it's inappropriate. Yeah. Any questions?
Online area.
Online. Yes. If there are no questions, maybe we stop here. We have some tea.
Last, any? We stop here.
Yes. I think you can teach in English already.
Yeah.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you, Geshe. Tujichi. See you on Friday.
Yeah. 对不起，你下下了。
星期五见。
呀，星期五见。